What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Team Taiwan has defeated Thailand 3-1 in men's ice hockey at the Asian Winter Games. It's the first win for the men's ice hockey team in the competition. Held every 4 years, this year's games are being hosted in China's ice city, Harbin. 67 Taiwanese athletes are competing this time, the country's largest delegation ever. Days earlier, Taiwan won its first ever medal at the Games, with speed skater Chen Yingzhu taking home bronze in the women's 100-meter event. The Games run until this Friday. The International Boxing Association says it's suing the International Olympic Committee for allowing 2 athletes to compete in this year's Summer Games. Taiwan's Yu-ting and Algeria's Iman Khalif both won gold in women's boxing at the Paris Olympics. Both were earlier disqualified from the IBA's 2023 World Championships amid speculation over their gender. The Boxing Association was subsequently expelled from the Olympic movement. After filing a complaint in Switzerland, where the Olympic Committee is based, the association have said they'll also pursue legal action in France and the United States. The IBA's head cited U.S. President Trump's order to ban transgender athletes from women's sporting events as validating their efforts to, quote, protect the integrity of female sports. Neither Yu-ting nor Iman Khalif is transgendered. Taiwan's fledgling jury system is set for a major expansion. Starting in 2026, citizen judges will participate in deciding sentences for a broader range of cases. But as John Van Triest reports, the idea has split opinion in the legal profession.
A movement to reform the court system is getting a big new win. For the past 2 years, so-called citizen judges, select members of the public, have been helping professional judges deliver verdicts in serious cases, including murder, on a mixed panel. And from next year, the range of cases they will help decide will grow much wider, to every case where a prison sentence of 10 years or more is at stake. The idea is to create transparency in the justice system and counter criticism that professional judges are out of touch. But the system has been used in fewer than 300 cases so far, and some who work with the law worry lay people aren't ready for the wider variety of cases to come.
杀人，他可以很直观的了解到，不是刀枪，但是一个贪渎案件啊，有一些是去特定的收礼，那也其实前金啦、后谢啦、回扣等等的，那这一些不同的构成要件的说明，会影响整个案情不一样的走向，所以它困难度会变得更抽象。
There are also fears of greater burden for lawyers, who now will need to put more effort into communicating with the non-specialists on the panel of judges.
大家接案的意愿还是没有那么的高啦，因为本质上来说，这样子的案件类型对于律师的时间成本过大，然后日常的负担也很大。那再加上我们现在台湾的律师事务所绝大多数是中小型的事务所，所以他很难去密集的去参与相关的审理。
But not everyone is so pessimistic. Some lawyers even think the wider life experience people outside the legal profession have could help the cause of justice. For example, in fraud cases, something that can stump younger professional judges.
I'm not surprised anymore when I see judges and prosecutors look at a bunch of forged, fraudulent documents, and then they say, oh, yeah, but I just can't tell that he really meant to steal the money. And I look at that and I'm like, well, since when did this 90-year-old man want to buy 2,000 air compressors? And you like to hope that a citizen judge in the middle of this could look at this and have the same outraged reaction I have when I see Taiwan courts regularly come back unable to find fraud.
Whatever criticism is made about the citizen judge system, and there has been a fair amount, those in charge of the justice system are certain it's here to stay, and its role in society is going to grow. Ryan Wu and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Houston has been home to a large and thriving Taiwanese American community since the late 1960s. Some of the first wave of immigrants from Taiwan established a community center in the city. For decades, it's been a social and cultural hub for multiple generations of Taiwanese Houstonians. Jeremy Olivier visited the center and brings us this report.
Longtime Houston resident Mike Guo has lived an extraordinary life. Born and raised in Taiwan, Guo left his home for the U.S. in his early 20s, where he earned his master's and PhD in food science and technology. In the 1980s, he went to work at Johnson Space Center in Southeast Texas, developing the food program for NASA's space shuttle astronauts.
The food totally different from all the previous astronaut food. So they needed somebody to develop this new packaging, new type of food, and they start to have a quality control program. Then I was hired as a quality control and nutritionist there.
Houston was also where Guo came out as a strong critic of the authoritarian government in Taiwan and a supporter of the country's independence. That came with consequences. Guo was blacklisted in Taiwan in 1974, unable for years to visit friends and family back home. At risk of arrest, he traveled to Taiwan in 1991, but not before taking a few precautions, changing the name in his U.S. passport, growing a beard, and donning a wig.
That time I have, three young children, so I decided to use the legal way, but the way they couldn't prevent me from entering.
The ruse worked. Guo was able to enter Taiwan right under the government's nose. It was so convincing, the authorities didn't realize what had happened until he was leaving, apprehending him at the airport.
I appeared in a public event, and there's 200 policemen surrounded us, and faced by the individual, they used my picture to compare each attendant, and I was there.
Police interrogated Guo for over 9 hours before the U.S.'s de facto embassy intervened, and he was let go. Taiwan finally removed him from the blacklist the following year. Guo's more adventurous days are now behind him, but even at 75, he remains committed to the causes that motivated him back then. In Houston, he has helped foster a community of like-minded Taiwanese Americans. The group's base here at the Taiwanese Community Center, not far from the city's Chinatown. Since 1992, the center has offered a social and cultural space and provided language classes and activities to the more than 7,000 Taiwanese Americans living in the greater Houston area. It also houses a curated collection of books and historical items on Taiwan. The founders say their initiative has received broad support from the local government.
We list the mission as to enhance the public understanding of Taiwanese American culture, and also to do community services, and then also to foster Taiwanese education for our next generations. So for that, we were able to be registered as a cultural and educational nonprofit organization.
That investment in the younger generation has paid off. A small but growing group of dedicated young people is now helping move the organization that runs the center forward, bringing new energy and new ideas.
I feel like we can have more diverse events. That's what drives me want to contribute. So for example, I am a big coffee drinker. So I feel like I know Taiwan has very, very good coffee. So that's why I feel like maybe we can have like a Taiwan coffee tasting event like that.
From grassroots activism to community building, these Taiwanese American Houstonians have come a long way, creating a small slice of Taiwan in their adoptive home. Devin Tai, Leslie Liao, and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we're heading to New York for the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.